In this inaugural edition of Kitchen Convivial, we'll make Chinese red snapper. This is based on a method I learned from a friend from China.
So first and foremost, our most important ingredient for this dish, given that it's a whole red snapper, is the whole red snapper itself. This is a pound fish, so it was about $3. It's already been, right from the store, it's already been gutted and scaled, which is nice. The scales are messy to remove in the kitchen. You may want to do that outside if you get one that's not scaled. I chose this fish. I was thinking to buy tilapia originally, but I picked this fish because it looked the freshest. It has the clear eye, which is a good indication that it hasn't been frozen for a length of time, and it just had nice color. So then the other things that we'll be using in this recipe are, let's start over here. We're going to use ginger. Garlic. Peeled garlic. I bought this. You can buy this at Asian grocery stores already peeled. I chose 6 cloves minced right here. So that's our garlic. We have about 2 thumbs worth of minced ginger. It's a root, about 2 pieces, about the size of a thumb. I like a lot of ginger, so you could probably get away with 1 thumb of it. I'm using 2. We're going to use canola oil. We're going to use canola oil to cook. You need soy sauce. To build a sauce for this, we need some kind of fish sauce. We're going to use some oyster sauce, and this will be kind of a brown sauce. Rice vinegar. If you don't have rice vinegar, you can substitute apple cider vinegar or white vinegar. We're going to sweeten it up with some honey, and we're going to use spice it up with chili garlic sauce. These 3 things, the sort of tart or sour taste from vinegar, a sweetness from honey or sugar, and the spice, those are common ingredients in a lot of Asian dishes, and the mix of those and being able to detect a little of all of those is what we want. So when we build the sauce, which we'll do in a couple of minutes, we'll taste test it and see if it has that balance that we like. The other things we're going to use vegetable-wise is we're going to use scallion. Here's 3 scallions. The whites and the tops of the greens, where the substantial portions, are cut thinly. And then I like to cut the tops a little differently, a little more decorative, so I cut those. And I'm keeping them separate because they're going to cook differently. We have some fresh cilantro. This is maybe 1/4 cup of fresh cilantro leaf. We're also going to do some vegetables with this. I'm going to steam some rice. I like to use Calrose rice. Calrose rice is a sticky rice popular in Asia. It's actually a U.S. invention. It was this particular variety was developed in California, hence the name Calrose. And we'll make up some of that. And then I'm going to, rather than frying these vegetables either with the fish or on their own, I'm going to steam them on top of the rice. So I have maybe, I don't know, 2 servings worth of pea pod, where I just took off the ends, part you might not like to eat, and then a similar amount of carrot, sliced carrot. So let's put the sauce together. To put the sauce together, we're going to take, I use something like this. We're just going to start mixing some of these ingredients in. And let's start with some soy sauce. I'm going to go maybe, both the soy sauce and the fish sauce are salty, so a couple tablespoons between the 2 of them. And maybe about 1.5 tablespoons of that in there. The fish sauce is usually quite strong tasting as well, so maybe 1/2 tablespoon of fish sauce. And then this oyster sauce is really nice as the basis for brown sauces. It's sweet and kind of thick, molasses-like consistency. Put like a tablespoon, maybe 1.5 tablespoons of oyster sauce in here. And then now our core sour with the vinegar, a little bit of vinegar. I think I'm going to add some white wine to this as well instead of just water. And we add some honey in here, maybe a teaspoon there. 2 teaspoons of honey maybe, something like that. We're going to taste test this in a second, so we'll see how we did. Next thing we want our chili garlic sauce, and I like it spicy, so I usually work in heaping teaspoons with this. Let's go 1. I'm going to do 2. It's not going to kill anyone. We'll do that. And it's really thick now, so we want to dilute this a little bit with some water because it'll reduce. So I'm going to take this up so that we'll have about 1 cup by adding 1/4 cup of water and 1/4 cup of white wine. In case I'm going to use a Sauvignon Blanc, just an old wine that I had sitting around that someone didn't finish, and add some of that in. I like to save these instead of buying cooking wines, and they're usually probably a little better than a cooking wine would be, but we wouldn't want to drink them anymore. So there we go. Let's see what that looks like. We got a little bit, we got about a cup and a third of sauce. Taste it. Tastes pretty good. Tastes pretty good. I think that's a good mix right there. So that's it for the sauce. Next thing you know, we're going to start cooking here. Okay, so here we are at the stove. This is a 12-inch cast iron skillet. You need a big pan. It needs to be able to accommodate the whole length of the fish. So just anything that's big. It doesn't need to be cast iron though. It could be a wok. It could be any fry pan. So we're gonna put this on like something like medium and medium high heat, and let that heat up really nicely. So while our pan is heating up, let's prepare the fish a little bit. So what I did is I rinsed it, cleaned out the cavity a little bit, so get some blood and things out of there. As I said, it was already scaled. Let's just cut some slits in here so that some of the flavor will penetrate the fish. So you just want to go down, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch. And same thing for the other side. You can see on this side the eye doesn't look so good because this was sitting in the ice. So this is the frozen side. When I kept it in the refrigerator, I put it in a pan. It was in a plastic bag from the grocer, but I put it in a pan with some ice because I was saving it overnight. You really don't want the temperature to drop too much on it. So now I'm going to grab that the garlic we had and the ginger, and I'm going to put some of it in the fish. So we're just going to push that in, and hopefully that'll stay in there while we're cooking, and then there'll still be some more of it in the sauce and that, but this will help flavor it a bit on the inside. I'm going to do that. Same thing with a bit of the garlic. Maybe we'll use about half the garlic in this part of it, because if it comes out, it's just going to be in the sauce anyway where we would have put it. Push some of the ginger in there. And then, since I have so much ginger, I think I'm going to put some of it in the cavity too. It'll flavor it a bit from the inside. So it's cooking in the pan. Some of that in there. Some more garlic. Some more garlic. And there you go. And a little bit of the garlic inside too. And that's it. So now we're ready to put that in our pan with some oil. Okay, our pan is pretty hot here, so we're ready to get going. I'm going to use the canola oil and put probably, I don't know, maybe 3 tablespoons or so in there. And get that, yeah, that looks good. So we're ready to put the fish in. Just going to lay it in there. I'm going to lay it down away from you. And I'm going to put some of these other veggies in, like the scallions. And some garlic. I'm sorry, this is the ginger and the garlic. Things that can stay in the cook a little while longer. And then we'll move that around as it's cooking. It's going to cook like this for a couple minutes on this side, so we'll just let that go. The other ingredients we're going to save for a little later. Once we get a little bit of frying going with the fish, we'll put some of the sauce in after we put it over there. Just let that kind of sit there for a couple minutes. Okay, so we've had the fish in there on this side for about 2 minutes right now. I moved the vegetables around a little bit. They're starting to brown a little. So what's nice about this recipe is so that to kind of control the heat and when we're cooking some things, you can put a little bit of the sauce in whenever you want. Things are sticking to the pan, and gives you a lot of control when cooking something like this. We're just going to do it a couple minutes on the side first, and then it'll steam a little bit in the end while the sauce is reducing as well. Okay, this is about 4 minutes. Let's turn this over and see what it looks like. Well, that looks nice. We're getting some browning in there. That's good. So you can see that the flesh is starting to cook there already on that side. So we'll do this side about 4 minutes as well. And again, move some of the vegetables around, use the sauce to control it if it seems like it's getting too sticky. So, about 4 minutes on this other side. Okay, so now we're about 4 or 5 minutes on this side, so we're pretty close to done cooking it. One of the ingredients I forgot that I really want to put in this dish is star anise or star anise. It's these little things. So we're going to throw a few of those in the sauce. If I'd put them in from the beginning, maybe I wouldn't need so much, but I'm going to put like, I don't know, say 4 pieces of that in. And it gives it this nice kind of mild fennel-like or traditional anise flavor, almost like a mild licorice that I really like. Okay, so our sauce has been reducing for another minute or two. It's boiling away pretty good. One of the things, as you can imagine, a whole fish is kind of delicate. The pieces, once it's cooking, the fins and things will fall off. So we want to move it around a lot at this point. Let's put some of the scallions in, some more color and flavor, and the cilantro. And I saved some fresh cilantro leaves to garnish with on the plate too. So this stuff is all just going to go in. We'll mix this in. And then when we plate it up, that's the next time we'll turn this fish over, just so that we're not handling it too much and cause it to fall apart. Because part of the presentation of it, even though it looks weird, I mean, you might scare the children over with the fish with the head on it, but that's a nice way to present it. Okay, we're just a couple more minutes in here, and this is looking like pretty much like what I want. The scallion isn't completely deteriorated yet. We want to stop this about now. Sauce is reduced quite a bit. We still have plenty of sauce to pour over the fish and to have with some of the vegetables and the rice. So let's work on plating this up. So I'm going to use this sort of lasagna turner here so I can pick it up without causing the fish to fall apart. And I'm going to put it on one big platter. This is sort of a communal kind of a meal. We don't want to, I'm not going to plate this individually because it's too big a fish for one person. And it'll look nice if we just put it all out like this. And the sauce is reduced really nicely, just sort of the way that I want. I want some of that color on top of the fish. So now what we're going to do is, with the bowl scraper, I'm just going to go and layer this really nicely across the fish. Like that. And remember I said I was going to steam some vegetables, so we've got some things to dress this up with on the side as well. Okay, I mentioned that I was going to steam the vegetables, the carrots and the pea pods on top of the rice in the rice cooker, and that's what I did. So let's just take those guys, which will be really nice and colorful, and just put them on either side of the fish like this. And you get a good, nice mix of both. Just like peas and carrots in a Western dish, I guess, of Asian peas and carrots. Like so. I've done this with broccoli and thickened the sauce with cornstarch. That's nice too. But we just want to be able to see the whole fish and just have a really nice colorful plate here. So that's the vegetables. And let's just clean this up a bit. Maybe still drizzle a tiny bit of sesame oil and some toasted sesame seeds on the vegetables. I just like them that way. Just a tiny bit. Just for that. And that would go, those will go nice with the fish as well. And sesame in there. Look at that.
Well, there we have it, our beautiful Chinese red snapper, all ready to be taken to the table. I hope you enjoyed this recipe as much as I do, and thank you for watching.